Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Mysteries and Oddities video. I thought I would mix one of these in while I was wrapping up the Urban Legends series, and I wanted to make it an of the week as well, based on one of your past suggestions. And I'm probably going to also work on this series, a new one of it, as soon as I finish the Urban Legends side. So, this suggestion is pretty fascinating because it could actually encapsulate three items all in one. Of course, there's the mysterious side for it, hence why I'm including it here. But also, if you stretch it a little bit, this notion can include ghosts and spirits, and if you stretch it even further, it can include stuff related to aliens and UFOs. So three in one. Pretty fascinating stuff. There's a good chance that some of you have even experienced this phenomenon, or if you haven't, that you may experience it in the future. So it has to do with this, the very strange, bizarre, mysterious notion known as sleep paralysis, which I'm sure you've heard the statement or term of. But still, lots of very good info to share, so here we go. So what is this phenomenon known as sleep paralysis? In essence, it's the inability to move, or in some cases speak, whenever you're asleep but you're in a woken up stance of some sort. So think of it this way: you're sleeping, everything is going fine, suddenly your eyes wake yourself up, and you're looking around, and you can see things, you can hear things, and in some cases you can even speak things, but for whatever reason your body is completely paralyzed. It is apparently a very scary time, because whenever this happens, you're essentially 100% unable to move your body of any sort whatsoever. So you're paralyzed. People that have experienced it, to them it feels like almost like they're being buried alive, because in essence they have nothing that they can do about their condition, and yet everywhere around them they can still see that something can be done, but in essence they can't do anything about it. And also it feels like it's buried alive for them, because a lot of them seem to experience a strange crushing sensation across their body, almost as if somebody is laying on top of their body. And I'll touch more about that here in a minute. But in essence, that's it. That's the notion of sleep paralysis. It's being paralyzed, but in a frightening state where you are 100% aware of that paralysis. And while you're trying to do everything you can, your brain is screaming to your body to try to move anything, you cannot whatsoever. It's a pretty common, a more common than I thought, phenomenon of some sort. Because if you can believe it, there's about a percentage, 7.6% of the general population that has dealt with this problem. That's pretty high. I thought I was figuring something around maybe the 1 to 2% at most, but in this case, almost 8%. That's why I was mentioning earlier that there's a good chance that some of you may have experienced it in the past. And also, it can tie into anybody. You don't have to be a certain race, you don't have to be a certain age. It can affect anybody, anywhere, because everyone sleeps, and for whatever reason this phenomenon sometimes comes into play wherever that person is sleeping. But if you had to see where it skews even higher as a percentage, people that have sorts of anxieties or sorts of depression seem to have a much higher percentage. And in fact, those that have mental disorders, you have the highest. It's a little over 31%. Those are the people that seem to have the very highest percentages of sleep paralysis. The way that these can occur, at least from a scientific standpoint, seems to be all tied to various causes. Number one, it seems like the biggest one is sleep deprivation. So those of you that are having trouble sleeping, or those of you that are working a lot for whatever reason, lots of things going on in your life, it shortens your time period for sleeping. You have a much higher chance of running into sleep paralysis because of it. Also, it seems to impact people that have sleep apnea. That's another trigger of some sort. And then from another medical standpoint, people that have narcolepsy also seem to have this this notion too. But of those that I mentioned, the one that seems to be the easiest to prevent is the sleep deprivation. As long as you can find time to have a healthier amount of, in this case, sleep hours, then yes, you should be able to essentially prevent sleep paralysis if you haven't experienced it already. By the way, where it comes from is this. So basically, when your body is about to go to sleep, that rapid eye movement goes into place. There's something that comes across your body too. There's a medical term for it. I'm trying to see if I could remember it outright. I think it's called atonia, if I'm not mistaken. That it's like a it's something that goes from your brain to your body that makes the muscles relax. That way, whenever you are truly sleeping and you're experiencing either good dreams, bad dreams, whatsoever, then the muscles within your body are not reacting to those dreams. Because imagine that, if we didn't have that, then in some cases, some of those dreams that you and I have, you could be running as quickly as possible, you could be doing punching walls, whatever is the case, and in real life your body would be doing it and you would wake up in horrible conditions. So that's why the body produces that, I don't know, liquid or whatever it is to try to ensure that the body stays still. But sleep paralysis is where you wake up while you have that atonia across your body. In other words, you wake up too early, rather than naturally waking up afterward whenever the atonia is gone. But no, in this case, you wake up too early. Your body's paralyzed, and then there's nothing you can do about it. But yes, at least with regards to the prevention of sleep paralysis, having the most sleep is the best way possible. Taking medication, I guess, for the other items I was mentioning, like depression, or trying to work with sleep apnea as well. That also works. Apparently, people that have a lot of alcohol, drug consumptions also seem to come into play because maybe their hyped up, no, their hyped up activity allows them, or doesn't allow them to get too much sleep, and so that's why they seem to have that too. But now let's skip over to the more supernatural side, because those that have experienced sleep apnea state that there's another mysterious thing happening to them. I touched upon this just the other minute or so. Remember that how some people state that they have like this pressure upon their chest, almost as if there's an invisible force laying on their chest, purposely pressing down on it, almost like trying to choke them to death, if that's the closest notion possible. But in some rarer cases, during the sleep paralysis, people can see things. Like, people actually hallucinate certain things in front of them. This is where it gets really weird. Like, people report stating that they can see these strange black shadows across the rooms. Others report seeing like demon-like creatures of some sort on their bodies. Others report seeing ghosts, mists, something along those lines. And then others state that they can't really see something, but they in turn know something is there. It's that feeling that something is truly there in the room with them, looking at them, like kind of like an evil presence of some sort, and they can do nothing about it because this thing is causing them to be paralyzed and feel so bad at the very same time. Like, again, this is a very, very hard feeling, almost, as I mentioned earlier, almost as if you're being buried alive, which is one of the worst things. It's the number one fear, I think, that people have said it, like the worst way to die is being buried alive, and yet with sleep paralysis, that's when you're experiencing it too. But yes, that's the stuff that where it takes a strange, almost supernatural turn when it comes to this, because only a few people see these things. Others, they see nothing, even though of course they're still paralyzed, but they still seem to, for the few that do, they see these very strange apparitions in front of them. In fact, there's that famous painting that showcases that this has been going on for a long, long time. I mean, we're talking hundreds of years. This is a painting by Henry Fuseli, and it has gained almost an all-star status. I mean, everyone has seen this painting before. It's visually striking. It's supposed to represent sleep paralysis at its finest. Like, essentially, it's something on top of the woman's chest with another presence in the room. In this case, both seeming very like demonic, very scary looking creatures of some existence. And then there they are, and she is in turn not able to do anything because of her sleep paralysis. But yes, that's in essence the supernatural side. And then if you take the UFO side, there's the idea that it's reports of people being abducted, in this case by aliens and by UFOs, and they in turn also experience sleep paralysis. They wake up, they feel nothing, like that their body can do nothing, and at the same time they feel a presence in the room, but it takes along more the lines of a gray, like the classic alien gray. And then as they're being abducted, they can absolutely do nothing from it because of their paralysis. Now, is all of this just coincidence? Like, are they truly hallucinating? Because during that very frightening period where they have the atonia kicking in, and then they have nothing they can do with their body being paralyzed, that's when their heart's beating faster, they start panicking, there's more chances of hallucinations happening. Are they truly hallucinating, these aliens? And then afterward the UFO, who knows? There's no evidence for it, but there's no evidence really against it either. But still, that's where it takes the side of, in this case, the aliens and UFOs. But that's it, really. That's all the information tied to this mysterious phenomenon known as sleep paralysis. If anyone has experienced it themselves, please post those comments. That'd be really great to hear. Almost 8% of you out there listening to this apparently have. So very, very interesting to hear if anyone has, or if anyone knows friends, family members, coworkers, whoever that has done this and experienced it too. That would be also really great to hear. So, alright, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care.